It's time for a Bible story. This story begins with a group of people called the Israelites.
I've heard of those guys before. They were the ones that were like slaves in Egypt, and then that one guy was like, let them go. And then the other guy was like, no way, bro. And then God was like, fine then, do the big splash wave, son. Judged and rescued.
Close enough. The Israelites were rescued by God from being slaves in Egypt. And after that, they started traveling across the desert to a place God promised them, called the Promised Land.
That's a good name. Sounds promising.
It was. Their future home was a paradise that God wanted them to live and thrive in, but first, they'd have to get there.
What are you talking about? It's like right next to where they came from. Look at that. What's the problem? I can make that trip in like, what, 45 minutes? No problem. Give me a helicopter, maybe a dune buggy, throw in a movie, get some big gulps, no prob.
Well, sure, but this was like thousands of years ago, remember?
Right, yes. I forget that a lot, huh?
Literally every time.
Shrug emoji. So what'd they do, like just hoof it across the desert?
Actually, yeah. They set out traveling toward the Promised Land, but traveling on foot like that across the desert was not easy.
Yeah, no kidding, man. I can barely make it across the driveway when I gotta take the trash out.
Well, imagine that, but like a million times farther and in the desert. And instead of just trash, it was like everything you own.
Yowza. Okay, so what happened next?
As they traveled across the desert, God totally took care of them. He provided water when they needed it, food when they were hungry, and protected them from enemies as they went along.
That is awesome. Okay, all right, so they made it across. Case closed. End of story. Roll credits.
Not so fast. The Israelites had one big problem: complaining.
Okay, hold on. Wait, what?
They got pretty ungrateful for everything they'd been given and had some pretty rotten attitudes toward God.
Hold the phone. Let me get this straight. Okay, so God rescued them from slavery.
Yes.
Gives them like food and water in the desert.
Yeah.
Protects them from bad guys.
Yep.
And they're a bunch of grumbly grumbles about it? What a bunch of lame-os.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't great. They sinned against God and basically turned on him. And because of that, they weren't protected like they used to be. In fact, a bunch of snakes in the desert started biting them.
Whoa, yikes. Desert snakes? Oh man, those are like the second worst kind.
Wait, what's the first?
Space snakes.
Of course. Tons of them were bitten by these snakes, and a bunch of them even died.
Oh man, that's rough. So like what happened?
Well, God told Moses, their leader, to make a bronze serpent on a staff and put it in the ground where everyone could see it.
Okay, like a snake scarecrow?
No, not like that. It was like a symbol. God instructed anyone that was bitten by a snake to look at the staff, and they would live.
Okay, cool, all right. And did it work?
Of course. God was reminding them to look to him whenever they got into trouble, instead of just complaining about it and hardening their hearts. And even though we're not in the same kind of situation today, that principle still applies. God has done so much for us when we didn't even deserve any of it. So all we can do is be grateful and continually say, thank you.
You're welcome, man.
Wait, no, I was saying, like, thank you to God.
Oh, right. My bad. Just a reflex. Hashtag manners.
No worries. So remember, God has done so much for us, and we always want to make sure that we stay grateful and thankful for how much he loves us.
And also, watch out for space snakes.
Yes, also that. The end.